Hello, today is Thursday, May 25th, 2023. I'm Joe Schmidt from TC2, and this is Staying Connected. Today, we are going to discuss ChatGPT and its implications for networking and communications. And no, we're not going to do one of those cliche things where we let ChatGPT write a script for the podcast. This is authentic. Let me also add that there is so much to cover on this topic that this will be part one of at least a two-part podcast series. Let me bring in a guy who's been following the developments of ChatGPT and, in general, the impact AI and machine learning will have on networking and communications. David Lee, TC2's Technology Director. Hey, David, thanks for joining me today.
Joe, it's always a pleasure.
Okay, so what is ChatGPT, and is it the end of Google as we know it?
The term GPT, firstly, means Generative Pre-trained Transformer. And to answer your question in a short version, and absolutely not the end of Google. In fact, Google is now ahead in terms of the size, and we'll talk about this a little later, of its LLM compared with OpenAI's service.
Okay, that's a good start, David. Maybe you can provide a little more detail, please?
Sure, Joe. Let me tell you what it is and what it does. ChatGPT, in its basic form, is a knowledge base or repository of information, also referred to as a large language model or models, LLMs. Plus, obviously, computer code and algorithms that process a user's request or input. What is unique about ChatGPT and other large language models and AI systems is the size of it. That's, at this point, OpenAI is 175 billion unique parameters versus a few months ago, 137 billion parameters from Google Bard. But Google is upgrading to over 500 billion parameters, far exceeding OpenAI. So it's a race to the largest language model. In simple terms, these LLMs, along with their algorithms, simulate the speech, tone, and language of a person by scraping the content of the entire internet. It also has been built to simulate a person by refining its algorithms to predict the next best word and combine them into sentences, narratives, and sometimes even songs and poems. In short, ChatGPT is a chatbot, but a very sophisticated chatbot that has scaled to a point where it simulates human qualities. And to answer your other question about Google, Google is safe for now, but this technology is a game changer and will impact Google's business model. It's also important for enterprises to be aware of the motivation of these vendors, meaning Microsoft and Google. They have every incentive to hype this shiny new technology, and they're certainly loving this free PR and advertising, which is in the news about every other day. It helps them grow a new revenue stream as well as enhance an existing revenue stream such as cloud services.
Okay, so it's a chatbot that gets its smarts from the internet. And we all know that everything that's on the internet is truthful and accurate, David.
Yeah, kind of funny. Well, that's the thing, Joe. ChatGPT and similar LLMs are only as good as the content of the internet and how it processes it or how the AI system is trained. So ChatGPT can provide a confident response that is totally wrong. There have been several examples where someone asks it to describe a made-up phenomenon or invention, and it confidently responds with a definition. Who invented it? The year it was invented, but it's all wrong. Now, in the AI world, this is called a hallucination or hallucinations in the parlance of that world. Also, since these large AI systems are text-based, they often can't perform, for example, a straightforward monthly mortgage payment calculation that has been on websites and apps for many years. And these large AI systems can't reason or have empathy.
So ChatGPT, Bard, and other AI platforms, as you pointed out, they've been in the news pretty much every day. But this isn't really a brand spanking new technology, is it?
That's right. Neural networks and artificial intelligence, they have been researched and experimented with as far back as 3 decades ago or more, particularly in the government sector. More recently, chatbots and AI have been in practical use or applied, so to speak, in the background for several years to assist in making restaurant reservations, delivery services, logistics, predictive analytics, answering basic customer service questions, and similar targeted use cases.
Hey, David, I've done quite a bit of reading and research on ChatGPT, and I've seen many examples where ChatGPT actually has done some pretty cool things. For example, I've seen ChatGPT integrated with Excel, and it was asked to write a formula for a complex problem, and it did it. So for me, I can see how it could easily scale for other coding needs.
Right. Concerning writing computer programs, one of the benefits that is being discussed and debated is that these large AI systems will be able to write computer code based on instructions and requirements. There have always been low-code or no-code capabilities for specific and limited purposes for a vendor's application. It's been out there for several years. But this is a different paradigm in that the large AI system will be able to write computer code, perform testing of code, and look for security flaws in code. Now, having said that, I'm not saying that AI and LLMs will take over the jobs of hundreds of thousands of programmers. Developing the concepts, problem solving, optimization, and creativity will still be needed and performed by programmers, but AI can be employed to take some of the routine and more mundane tasks out of the application development process. As we've seen for centuries, humans eventually adapt and perform tasks that we are more efficient at.
Okay, so in your opinion, David, what are the implications for networking and communication?
I think the best way to address your question, Joe, is provide a couple of examples. One of them is with Juniper Networks. They have products and services such as Mist and Marvis. I'll explain what they do. They provide automation of several key elements of the IT stack, providing a seamless and integrated solution for the end user experience and minimizing manual human interactions to determine root causes and solutions. Marvis in particular, and its virtual network assistant, or VNA, is an AI solution that can manage and operate networks on par with a human IT staffer. In other words, it takes actual natural language queries from someone from the IT staff about the network, such as, why is my network slow at the Peoria, Illinois site? And provides actionable responses with conversational responses to find out the root cause and to optimize IT operations, or NetOps. In addition, Juniper has recently announced it is incorporating ChatGPT in its VNA and is also having Marvis diagnose and improve Zoom video calls. So, Joe, a few other examples of AI and ML-driven products and companies that support network and application visibility end-to-end from the laptop to the cloud or data center include Thousand Eyes, now owned by Cisco, AppNeta, and Riverbed's Eternity solution. These companies provide proactive versus reactive end-to-end visibility and telemetry and data that allows enterprise ops to provide a faster mean time to resolution. In particular, they allow an enterprise to pinpoint that an issue is with the cloud provider, allowing NetOps to reroute around the issue or contact the cloud provider for faster resolution and reporting to the end user community in that enterprise more quickly. Eventually, near, medium, long-term, the AI and ML-driven solutions will be able to initiate a script, a solution to a problem, of course approved by a human operator that solves that known error or issue that is discovered. But not every AI solution or product is fit for purpose. As an example, we were working with one of the top 5 U.S. banks recently, assisting them in refreshing their network infrastructure. In part 2 of the podcast, I will describe this use case.
All right. So do you have any applications where enterprises would benefit from ChatGPT?
There's solutions out there, Joe. I see governance and control as a good use case. For example, starting with a curated and validated large language model and AI system, an enterprise may consider using this technology for regulated industries or where validation of what is said verbally or in a written communication in real-time chat that can validate and govern that communication.
Hey, David, if a company is evaluating how a supplier uses ChatGPT or any other type of AI for that matter, what type of questions should they be asking?
Good question, Joe. As a best practice, when evaluating products and services that state they have quote unquote AI and ML as part of their solution, you really need to ask for practical use cases with a return on investment. That's right. Ask how much it will cost to deploy, including licenses, subscriptions, training your staff, and other infrastructure. And then how much cost savings or business benefits will you receive and over what time? So don't be surprised if your current vendor or vendors, they're putting in their data sheets AI or generative AI into their marketing documents, but that isn't good enough. Another question to ask if my enterprise organization has the skills and staffing to support these new technologies.
Hey, David, one of the things that we haven't talked much about here is the regulatory concerns with ChatGPT and the impact this and other technologies have on employment. This really is a big deal, and it has a lot of pundits expressing real concern, and they're forecasting dire consequences if it's not handled right. And that includes Sam Altman, who's the CEO of OpenAI and the creator of ChatGPT.
Yes, you're right, Joe. In fact, the two founders at OpenAI as well, along with the CEO, Sam Altman, had an open letter just recently published a few days ago, calling it an existential threat, I believe, in that open letter. So concerning governance in general, we are now seeing Italy, for instance, the EU, and the U.S. Congress either already limiting ChatGPT or starting to have serious legislative meetings to control and put up guardrails around this technology. But we can explore this more in part 2 of the podcast.
Yeah, David, you know me too well. Yes, we will be recording a podcast on the future of how AI and LLMs, including ChatGPT, might impact an organization and what enterprises really need to be doing to prepare. So, David, do you have any final thoughts for today?
Yes, Joe. Our Fortune 500 clients have been and will continue to ask us about ChatGPT and other AI systems and the implications to their networking infrastructure and communications technology. Moreover, as we all realize, many large enterprises have been preparing for a business downturn over the last several months, and CEOs and CFOs are asking their IT organizations to optimize, even though they do also realize the strategic importance of IT and the cloud. So budgets are being reduced and IT executives are asked to do more with less. At the same time, IT is expected to be proactive instead of reactive. So AI and ML, I believe, can provide more automation instead of manual processes with large IT staffs.
Okay, thank you, David. You know, this is an amazing technology and something that we'll be using in the coming years, if not much sooner. As we both mentioned, we will be recording another podcast covering ChatGPT and other AI solutions. But if you do have questions now or you want to learn more, we're here to help. So feel free to contact David, me, or any of our LB3 and TC2 colleagues by giving us a call or shooting us an email. You can also stay up to date by subscribing to these Staying Connected podcasts, by checking out our websites, and by following us on LinkedIn.